Hey guys, iHeartRadio recently announced the launch of the first ever iHeartRadio Podcast Awards. And Up and Vanish is nominated for Best Crime Podcast. This is the first major award show to recognize podcasting. And you guys, the listeners, will help decide who wins. So, if you enjoyed Up and Vanished, vote for us. Just go to iHeartPodcastAwards.com and you can vote up to 5 times per day. Or, if it's easier, you can also tweet your vote by using the hashtag iHeartPodcastAwards, then hashtag CrimePodcast, and hashtag Up and Vanished. As always, thanks for your support. If you've enjoyed Up and Vanished, give us a vote. That's iHeartPodcastAwards.com. Thanks, guys.
One of the names that keeps coming up has a criminal record. He's well known to police in different jurisdictions. And as you heard, everybody in town thinks he's the drug hookup. That's that. Does he have anything to do with this case? I have no idea. Right? That's the frustrating part. Just because somebody in town is on everybody's radar, rumored to be some bad guy that might be involved with Crystal's disappearance, doesn't make it true. In fact, if it was so obvious and true, that person would already be in custody. Because the sheriff's department knows the name, and I suspect that they've checked it out every which way and have some suspicions on their own whether he's the right guy. I think he knows what's going on, and I think that some of his associates may even know more. We certainly know who Catfish is. And I know that Catfish and his friend have been spoken to by detectives. So they shouldn't be surprised that their name's coming up. The real balance journalistically is what are the liabilities of reporting somebody's identity who may ultimately never be charged or directly be involved. I guess the one that comes to mind is the Richard Jewell case at Atlanta Olympics, the bombing, the security guard. He came to help, he had to be the guy, and everybody reported it. Can't take it back, right? Wasn't him. So we always balance here the need to do those kind of things. If you watched our initial investigation, we have a blurred mugshot, and he knows that's him. His mom probably knows that's him. His friends probably know that's him. So there's some, not public identity, but I think we let him know that we know. There he is. If they're just dealing and moving product, they don't want to make any waves. And violence creates waves. People call the police, they call 911, here comes the ambulance, they say who did this and what, and it can ruin a financial stream. So the players that we're talking about there, I don't think are dangerous every day, but I have no doubt if they're cornered that they know how to get out of trouble.
From Tenderfoot TV in Atlanta, this is Up and Vanished. I'm your host, Payne Lindsey. I talked to a new source about Catfish. We'll call this person Calvin. Calvin told me that after Crystal went missing, 3 people in Crestone seemed to change noticeably. Dreddy Bryan and 2 other men. We'll call them Landon and Jack. According to Calvin, these 3 individuals incurred psychological breakdowns shortly after her disappearance.
My knowledge is limited. I mean, because a lot of these people were my friends. The ones that I guess were involved, if you want to say that, or not involved. And really, what it really comes down to is, I mean, Brian. I mean, you got to start there. I mean, that's the way it is. Catfish had nothing to do with it on the end of like basically. I believe that she was killed. Okay. I didn't believe her and Brian got into an argument. Brian killed her, and then they disposed of the body. I'm not sure who they are, but I'm pretty much sure that he talked to
Landon, Jack,
and Brian. If you get those three, then you'll be able to figure it out.
Do you know what happened? Like what the situation was?
I don't know. I know that what had happened is that Brian, the summer before, had wrecked her car, and then she had filed her civil suit. I think that what happened is that maybe Brandon and Brian had maybe raped her, like maybe drugged her and raped her, and then she tried to come back on them. So that's what I'm getting from the information that I have. All right. And I mean, I honestly thought it was Catfish at first, but well, once I started talking to Catfish, and I mean, got to basically know Catfish, it wasn't him at all. I mean, he may have. I mean, I hate to say this, but he may have. Helping them like cover it up. But the only reason they did that is because they involved him, and I don't even think that's the case, really. There's no really. What I saw is from a distance, because I'm a friend of everybody that was, I guess, probably involved. Is I saw a complete psychological breakdown.
Landon,
Brian, and the paranoia of all three of them just went through the roof.
Landon,
Went from just being in standard meth psychosis to being like completely paranoid at all times, whether he was sober or not, thinking that people were following him. I mean, Muir mentioned that they had found Crystal's body. He completely freaked out.
Jack,
He ended up getting committed. I mean, and then you look at Brian, and from what I've seen, and I know his ex-wife, and I know all the other girlfriends that he's been with, there is a violence in behind him, like a dark, like, you know, it doesn't come out right at first, but when they're alone, it happens. Also, I would, I mean, just to help you out, I mean, I've talked to, hey, you know what's funny is I've got can I call you back here in a little bit?
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay, because my friends just showed up, and I'll be back in town here in about 30 minutes. Will that work for you?
Yeah, man, just give me a shout.
Yeah, okay, I'll help you, dude, because I mean, this is bullshit, man. I mean, you know, honestly, they place some value on human life where they shouldn't have been placed, you know what I'm saying?
They placed a value on a human life where it shouldn't have been placed. About 2 months later.
I mean, it's rumored that she was blackmailing them, because they had raped her. They drugged her and raped her.
Landon,
He almost shot Catfish's hand off. I talked to people that were there. They said that they were arguing over Crystal, about what had happened. And that's when he shot his hand.
Landon,
I was staying over at my house one night, and he woke up and he's like, I didn't do it. I don't know. He said, I didn't mean to do it. That's what he said. I didn't mean to do it to her. And then I've heard Catfish several times. Catfish was like, I didn't think they'd kill her. I've heard him say that a couple times. I mean, just not general night terrors. He's actually said that twice. For one thing, he's very standoffish about the whole thing, which is another indication that maybe he had something to do with it. He's agoraphobic. I mean, he has a hard time dealing with people besides people he knows very well. He's only been that way since he got into a car accident about, I say, 15 years ago. He brings it up quite a bit. I mean, to the point to where, I mean, it's not... See, he's such an emotional human being that if he did commit an act like that, it would have devastating psychological effect on him. I mean, I'm not a trained psychiatrist or a psychologist or anything, but I'm just from just my point of view. Honestly, he didn't display any of it, but he does have regret there, which means that his regret is probably due to some involvement in some way, whether it be ex post facto, like taking care of the body after it was all said and done, or whether it be that he had something to do as far as like planning it or paying for it or something of that nature. Catfish's house was completely destroyed all the time. I wasn't there and I didn't see it, but right after the girl disappeared, that house was completely spotless. I mean, you could eat off the floor. Catfish has also been accused of drugging and raping other women. Catfish is not a stupid person. He's quite far from stupid. If he was going to plan anything, it would be to the T. I mean, they would dispose of the body in a way, and I'm thinking that they moved the body more than once, would be my guess. That they did maybe 3 or 4 different times. And then finally they incinerated it, would be my guess. That's what I've heard. This is a small community, you know, and people talk. And it's funny because these guys go around talking about this. I guarantee it. Otherwise, why would you hear these things? They're basically dosing each other with LSD to basically drive each other insane. If you want to get dosed, that means you're going to drop some acid. But, I mean, if you're getting dosed, that means somebody's trying to either kill you, drive you insane, or, you know, basically put you to a point where your mental capabilities can't handle the amount of drugs that you're on. There's several people that have been dosed around here through methamphetamine specifically. And, I mean, they walk around fighting shadow people for the rest of their lives. You know, shit like that. It's not very nice. I mean, you gotta watch what you do around here. A lot of people are scared of catfish. I'm scared of catfish a little bit. His family has power. They have major power. I'm willing to work with man. I'm willing to work with CPI. You know what? Screw these guys. I mean, I know that they all had something to do with it. And you know what? I mean, honestly, they really haven't turned out to be that great of friends anyway. You know, something needs to be done. And if they are guilty, then justice should prevail. This is murder we're talking about here. This is murder. Murder and rape.
Here's why I'm a big fan of SimpliSafe Home Security. SimpliSafe is ready for anything that gets thrown at it. If a storm takes out your power, SimpliSafe is ready. An intruder cuts your phone line, SimpliSafe is ready. And if they destroy your keypad or siren, SimpliSafe will still get you the help you need. Maybe you don't need to be ready for every worst-case scenario, but that's what makes SimpliSafe's home security system so great. It's always ready. SimpliSafe could cost an arm and a leg, but it doesn't. Instead, they only charge you what's fair. 24/7 professional security monitoring is just $14.99 a month. And there's no contracts and no hidden fees. How rare is that? A company that relies on good service. They have over 40,000 5-star reviews online. SimpliSafe is what home security should be. Learn more about SimpliSafe today. Go to simplisafe.com/vanished. That's simplisafe.com/vanished to protect your home and family today. simplisafe.com/vanished. At this point, I'd heard a lot of insane and frankly scary stories, all revolving around this group of so-called friends. Some of these things I'd heard before. That Catfish never cleaned his house, and then one day, he suddenly did a full sweep. And also that Catfish's family had a fairly prestigious background. I talked to Landon to get his perspective. Things didn't seem to look good for this group of friends, if that's even what they are.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk with you about anything you want to know about. And I do know, you know, the ins and outs of Creston pretty much, but I have some exciting stuff. Are you going to be in the area? I mean, it's not necessarily directly related to your story. I honestly was not present for anything that went down with that young lady, and I don't know anything but that, but I was around enough people. I happened to meet the young lady probably a matter of 2 weeks before she went missing for a 5 or 10 minute conversation. So that's the extent of my relationship with her and my knowledge of her. I don't know her well. I met her in passing, like I said, briefly before she vanished. But I do know some of the characters that are allocated in this, and you know, it is factually, I don't know anything. I didn't see anything. I don't have any, you know, true, I guess, solid information that would help anybody in the resolution of this whole, terrible, missing. I was quite certain it was, foul play, and there's a whole dynamic of manipulation and such. But go ahead and you ask your questions you want to. I would like to meet with you in person if you're going to be in the area.
What do you think happened to Crystal?
Let's get right into the nitty-gritty of it. There was an element of manipulation, of blackmail going on with her and the character with colorful name, who I happen to be, friends with for a few years. I lived in the same neighborhood as he did when my fiance and I were breaking up, and it was kind of like, a hard time for me, so I was made friends with him and we hung out. We didn't get along, let's say, and he went out for max damage on my world, and we haven't been connected to, some big strings and such. I'm not afraid that it hasn't worked because I have God completely on my side, and it's all a complete illusion anyway. All those little frequencies of vibration and existing are illusions, and we're transcending the planet. We're ascending the planet right now. Actually, this event sparks unity consciousness of love in every present moment is coming, and that's going to be the only vibration left. Anyway, so I'm not worried. I have no fear surrounding it. I'll tell anybody anything they want to know. I never had any fear or any guilt, but this story, kind of framed me. He put a lot of information out there that I was involved somehow because I happened to be, sort of going over to his house a decent amount because we were still having some sort of, friendship or conflict at that time. So he went out, I think he sent thousands of emails to those type of effects, slander, kind of computer program to make it look like my phone number was texting somebody else's phone number, and mimic the numbers and to my girlfriend and my number and had a conversation, screenshot type shit, all that type shit, and it really did hurt my reputation because people who we came to love and trust me had to be like, well, what, there's got to be an inkling of truth to all this. It doesn't just come out of that, rumors, they start somehow, somewhere, and there's always some sort of origin of truth, that's how what we're programmed to believe in, things are good. How do you feel about your life these days and everything? How is your personal, do you feel any, recent changes or recent, energies that seem different or any kind of, vibrancy or, synchronicities maybe in your life? They're ding, ding, here and there, and numbers that are coming at the right times and crazy, small world shit, or no?
I mean, I don't really know. It's hard to say. I haven't figured out life entirely yet, but, I look at it as one big learning experience.
Oh, you will soon, bro, my brother. You will soon become in full awareness and knowledge of what's happening on the planet. It's big, bro. Big. Lionsgate portal is opening, or it could be opening now, but by 2018, there's a Lionsgate portal. This shit, dude, is fucking crazy. It sounds nuts, right?
Landon's thoughts were a little far out there, but as far as Crystal's story, he gave more convincing details than I'd gotten from anyone else so far.
I mean, was I there for anything of that nature? No, it wasn't. I went over to the person's house, Catfish's house, and she was there, and at the time I was I'd take out his trash for him and stuff like that. Kind of do some work for him like that because he just couldn't do any of that. He was just out of control. But, and she was there and I met her and she was trying to help me take out trash and she was got a pretty positive vibe off her. And I also, it was just plain as obvious to me that there was an element of manipulation in the dynamic between the two of them, I didn't know this. She was seemed nice. She tried to help me, trash off the deck, and I was appreciative of that. Although, I just kind of put two bags together and then left because I was I'll come back later when it's not weird. And that's the next day. I hit him up on a text and I said, "What's up, man? What are you up to?" Blah blah. Got no response. Didn't go over to see what he was doing. Didn't really give a fuck, and probably didn't talk to him for weeks after that, or maybe a week or two. I don't even remember. He was so crazy, and he like tried to go even crazier on purpose, I think, so that his credibility would be in question. I feel like I was going through so much that I didn't have any capacity to like be sticking out trying to do investigative work, and especially in my situation, it would have been extremely dangerous too. Still a lot of pussies would consider what I'm doing extremely dangerous. I went through all sorts of shit. Dude poisoned me with LSD, bring me a bottle of whiskey that had 200 hits of acid in it. Hired kids to steal from me. Hired people to beat me up. Put libel, slander, and all sorts of fucking crazy stories out there about me.
Jack.
I believe was there at the time of whatever went down. He subsequently got, dosed with a lot of drugs of some nature, and he went off on, what they call, this guy Capish used to follow the Grateful Dead for a long time, and he came up with this thing where he would eventually, thing where I'm checking out. Hang on, trying to figure out where these lights are coming from. Alright, so anyway, I don't know any of this for sure, bro. The rumor mill has generated so many rumors. I'm in 3/4 of them, and I didn't have anything to do with it. Don't know what happened. Nobody told me because I'm not in that little clique or that club. They don't speak. They shouldn't. And there was a part of my depression that took me to some places where I was just like in survival mode, hibernation mode, and I was just kind of like, my reputation was getting stomped on. So people that used to just wave by this, wave in this little community, friendly would start to get these looks of doubt. I felt it creep in insidiously. Man, in a small town of 500 to 1,000 to 200 people in the peak season, like your reputation is everything, man. And if even somebody just kind of promotes a story that catches a little bit of wind somehow, everybody wants to. And that's the nature of like programming and people, and it doesn't even matter, exactly what you're doing as long as you're doing anything with any sort of like inkling or inference or the mere vague appearance of impropriety. All the stories became true in all those people's minds. You know what I'm saying, bro? I was unable to find employment. People were chasing me around, harassing me. People were trying to beat me up, steal my computers and phones, hack my Facebook. I lost them. Email was 10 years I had through college and everything. Dude, I could never get it back. They fucking took it. They attacked me with everything they had. They were plotting against my fucking demise. They were up all night putting all sorts of energy into my destruction, and they still couldn't touch the light. Because I'm the one good guy hanging around all these pieces of shit, right? And they're like, fuck him, he's not like us. We hate him. Let's set him up for whatever I can. Maybe I was, being a little bit of a poor judgment of character when I decided who to hang out with and who to trust because of my own depression and my own self-destructive nature, And so I was basically trying to live by myself with my 2 dogs in my truck and cut fireworks for a living. When I gave all that, I told the sea God I could have all that, look for it, and figure out whatever they could from it. I told them that, gave them full permission. And they never got back to me. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. There was one picture. I'm gonna tell you, I really don't want to dwell on this stuff. This is the last thing I'm trying to talk about these days because I'm excited to joy, and this is all might as well have never happened, bro. In the past, not only that, but it was an illusion, all this fear, and all this. Yes, we're all reincarnating all the time too, man. And like, if you're in the love train, you're gonna ascend with the rest of the planet. If you're not, then you're out. Kind of thing. And most of us are coming along. I think there's 144,000 of us on the planet that have been that are coming together to unify that vibration. 144,000 healers, masters, and warriors that have reincarnated tons of times. I'm living with people that were famous people throughout history that are reincarnating and coming back as the masters, forming the first contact team for this fucking ascension. It's fucking out there. I don't want to talk about this other crap. I will.
While I was talking to Landon, someone else got on the phone. I still don't know who she was.
I love you with all my heart. Hi, Payne.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you, love?
I'm doing great.
Guys. Oh, yeah. Payne, come and meet your creator. She's amazingly beautiful, full of with love in every moment.
Yeah, buddy. You gotta come down and figure it out. There's a story right there, man. Or maybe not.
The masters are coming home, Payne, and you are one of them.
Maybe you'll do both stories, but, I don't know.
He's one of them.
What would it look like if we all just listened more? Listening to audiobooks motivates us, inspires us, and even brings us closer together. And there's no better place to listen than Audible, because now Audible members get even more. Exclusive audio fitness programs, audiobooks, Audible originals, and more. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet. And now, with Audible originals, the selection is even more custom, with content made for members. Lately, I've been listening to Stephen King's classic, The Shining, on Audible, and it's been awesome. Every month, Audible members get 1 credit good for any audiobook, any one they choose, plus 2 Audible originals from a changing selection they can't get anywhere else. They also get access to audio fitness and health workouts, all made exclusively just for Audible. Plus, your books are yours to keep. With Audible, you can go back and re-listen at any time, even if you cancel your membership. Don't like your audiobook? Exchange it, no questions asked. Start a 30-day trial today, and your first audiobook is free. Just go to audible.com/UV. That's audible.com/UV. The letter U and the letter V. Or just text UV to 500-500 to get started. That's audible.com/UV. Or just text UV to 500-500 to get started. With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Discover over 50 million songs and thousands of curated playlists and stations across all your devices, just by asking. Find your favorite songs at the tip of your fingers and the tip of your tongue. Having friends over tonight? Just ask to play music for a dinner party. Want to remember your favorite memories? Request popular music from a decade, or even a particular year of your choice. Or what if you can't remember the name of that song, but you know some of the lyrics? Just ask for the song that goes like, you can still find it. Listening to music has never been more natural, simple, and fun. And right now, new Amazon Music customers get 3 months for just 99 cents at amazonmusic.com. Renews automatically. Cancel anytime. That's amazonmusic.com. Get 3 months for just 99 cents at amazonmusic.com. Shortly after Crystal went missing, an anonymous person had a phone call with Dreddy Bryan. They recorded this call and shared it with me, and I'd like to share it with you now, because the story seems to get a little muddled.
I know it's not like her for sure. The last time I actually saw her was, geez, it was a little over a month ago. But I think just like 2.5 weeks ago, River, at the last drum circle, I think she was there. I could have swore I heard her singing, and somebody else said that they thought. So, but the last time I talked to her, it was the day after the full moon before last. It was the day after that, and she said, and she came in, she called me out on the street. She was up in her apartment there. And she's like, hey, Brian, I think Catfish, like, put some fucked up shit on Facebook about you. You know what I mean? Because, like, we had an argument and I did some work at the house and he didn't pay me for it. And it was just like, okay, we had a beef, but she's like, I was over there and she told me, she said she didn't remember, but she said she thought that he might have drugged her or something, And she helped him clean his house too, and she's like, oh, I didn't pay me. But that was the last conversation I went through. But I could have swore she at the last drum circle.
Again, another person swearing they saw Crystal at the July drum circle.
I was in the zone, I was drumming for 6 hours straight, drinking and smoking. I don't remember a whole lot about that evening except the drumming. But I could have swore I heard her voice, and that's like the last. Jesus, it's been, I guess the last drum circle was 2.5 weeks ago, and before that it was so like 6 weeks ago. The last full moon was like a couple weeks ago, so I guess the one before that was 6 weeks ago, I guess. Wow, it's been a long time. Damn. Be sure, I could have swore I kept hearing, that voice of hers, like, I could have swore she was like singing and chanting, like, the vocable thing. She was like, the only places we hung out were at mutual friends' houses and at her house. You know what I mean? We went to Alamosa once, us and some friends, and we saw a movie. But like as far as like what spots she would go to, I really don't know, because like we're like kind of becoming friends again after we had a bit of a turbulent past,
meaning wrecking her car.
We weren't like super close, you know, but so like I wouldn't know like what her specific spots would be, you know what I mean? There was people that were concerned about her for sure. You know, she did go over to Catfish just for like, whoa, you know, we talked about that for whatever, it was 4 or 5 days, and then Nate had to pick her up at like 3 in the morning or whatever. And then she did go to Catfish just after that.
How did he know that Crystal went there?
I talked to Catfish. When this shit happened, dude, I went over there. I was just over there a few days ago, you know, talking to him. And, you know, I don't know. He seems, he's a pretty transparent guy. He's a cancer, you know. He's not super good at hiding his emotions. And I didn't like, he didn't seem nervous or lying or, you know, and I mean, if he was, then like, he's really, what's the word for that? I mean, he must be a true sociopath. But I really didn't get the vibe that, like, that's what it was, but obviously something happened that, you know. Yeah, you know, I brought her here for the first time like 2.5 years ago when we were living in Gunnison, you know? And I know all her friends, you know what I mean? Like she with some pretty righteous people. I could pretty safely say that out of that whole group of friends she hung out with, she was probably partying the hardest at the time. Like it seemed like to me.
The same anonymous source received a message from Catfish. I was shared the messages and was able to validate their authenticity. The anonymous source says this: "Have you heard any rumors? What do you think happened to her?" Catfish says, "I heard so many rumors, it is interfering. Brian..." That's all I can say at the moment, other than I will do anything to help. The source says, "Oh wow. Why do you say Brian..." Catfish says, "He told me he did it. I told the CBI, and he showed his confession on Messenger."
Up and Vanished is an investigative podcast told weekly, produced for Tenderfoot TV by Payne Lindsey, Mike Rooney, and me, Meredith Stedman, with new episodes every Monday. Executive producers Payne Lindsey and Donald Albright. Additional production by Resonate Recordings, as well as Mason Lindsay, Rob Ricotta, and Christina Dana. Our intern is Hallie Bidal. Original score by Makeup and Vanity Set. Our theme song is Ophelia, performed by Ezra Rose. Our cover art is by Trevor Eiler. Special thanks to the team at Cadence 13. Visit us on social media via @UpAndVanished, or you can visit our website, upandvanished.com, where you can join in on our discussion board. If you're enjoying Up and Vanished, tell a friend, family member, or coworker about it. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Thanks for listening.